So hey guys, what's up? Welcome to World News 28 News channel. So let's talk about the trade deal. Have China tariffs on US commodities stand after phase 1 trade deal? China and the United States recently agreed terms of a phase 1 trade deal under which the United States reduced some tariffs and cancelled retaliatory duties that were scheduled to take effect on December 15 before the deal. US corn, sorghum, wheat, and natural ethanol and refined copper cathodes had faced an additional tariff of 10% on shipments to China. Propane, cotton, aluminium, scrap, copper strap, and rare earth magnets were all set for an additional 5% duty. China imposed a 5% tariff on U.S. crude oil shipments from September 1, the first time U.S. oil had been targeted since the trade war between the world's top two economies started more than a year ago. The 5% tariff was not affected by the Sunday's deal. China, the world's biggest crude importer, has sharply lowered U.S. shipments from record high last year. Chinese customs data showed imports in the first 10 months were halved year-on-year to 146,275 barrels per day. China removed an additional 5% tariff on U.S. propane shipments, which was set to take effect from December 1. 25% duty that China imposed on U.S. propane on August 23, 2018 remains in place. Chinese firms process U.S. propane into petrochemicals such as propylene. Imports last year were worth an estimated $2 billion. China imposed a 10% punitive tariff on U.S. LNG shipments in September 2018, raising it to 25% in June. LNG duties were not affected by the deal. Imports of the super chill fuel in the first 10 months of the 2019 shrank 87 by 2% of the year to 258,955 tons. As per the Chinese customs, China imposed tariffs of 25% on U.S. methanol and MEG in June this year. These were not affected by the deal. No additional duty had been scheduled to come into effect on December 15. 25% tariff on soybeans in July 2018 had altered on buying by commercial barrels, but Chinese crushing went back to the U.S. market following a trade truce in December last year. Additional 5% duty came into effect in September. The Chinese government has given tariff exemptions to some of the U.S. soybean imports. American pork faced total import duties of 72% after including the 12% most favored nation tariff. These duties were not changed in Sunday's deal, but the China is expected to boost U.S. meat imports. An outbreak of the African swine fever in China has decimated the world's largest pig herd and sent domestic pork prices soaring to record levels. Total import tariffs on U.S. pork will go down to 68% in the new year when tariff rate cut on frozen pork shipments takes effect. An additional duty of 5% on U.S. aluminum scrap, which was go into effect on December 15, has been cancelled. The material was already affected by an initial 25% tariff in April 2018, following by another 25% increase in August 2018. Shipments to China were down only 70.3% year-over-year for the first 10 months of 2019. But those of the U.S. scrap copper subject to 25% tariff since August 2018 crashed by 76.6% over the same period. China, with this year, raised the prospect of restricting rare earth exports to the United States, but has not announced any formal measure. Removed by extra 5% tariff on imports of the U.S. permanent rare earth magnets from December as part of the phase 1 deal. There has been 25% tariff on U.S. rare earth export since June 2019. So if you like the channel, so kindly subscribe to it.